All right, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? For some reason, my microphone had a bad connection. It seems like it's working now. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. I didn't actually change any settings, so I was kind of confused why it wasn't working, but it seems like there was just a bad connection on my mic. I don't know. Okay, so sorry about that. Sorry about the delay. We'll get right into it. All right. What I was talking about on the triple Qs is there's no sell signal, so I'm basically watching for the Qs as the next sell signal. Again, on the hourly, I'm really narrowed down to the hourly charts, and here's the hourly. And again, I'm just watching this support line right here. You can see we got support here, 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 and here. So 4 tags of that. And we're basically just waiting for a break of that trend line support. The reason why I'm more interested in looking for the support, if you look at the weekly chart, and it shows up on the daily, but it's easier to spot in the weekly, big negative divergence on this weekly chart. So each one of these is divergent highs. There's a divergent high, and a divergent high. So we're waiting for a sell signal, but no reason to short until you get a sell signal. But that hourly chart, I think, is going to give us a jump start on the next correction, which I do believe is coming soon, just with those negative divergences telling us that. Now, if we burn through those and those all of a sudden are gone, then, there would be no reason to short. That would be pretty bullish. So on Thursday, when it gapped down, I put out a video, telling everyone to watch it, but at the same time, there was no reason to short the market, the general indices. And so far, it's still held that support line. Now, I am short some individual stocks because, again, a lot of this price action in the Qs is the FANG stocks. So there's shorts that are working out, and they continue to look good, even though the indices are holding up because those 5 stocks are holding, they're keeping the market propped up. So I'm not shorting any of those FANG stocks, and by proxy, I wouldn't want to short Qs and really even the S&P 500 because those FANG stocks have a pretty heavy weighting in the S&P 500 as well. But yeah, it is way overbought. I mean, if you look at go to the daily, you can see pretty overbought right here, sitting at 78. And this is we can go a little bit more, but this is about as overbought as the Qs get. It can get in the 80 range before you start to see corrections. You can see if I go back to the RSI and look, we were about 78 right here. You had a big correction. You were right there, you had a big correction, and we were overbought right there. It's about 78, big correction. So this is the area that corrections start from. We have negative divergence. We've got everything we're looking for in terms of a sell signal and a big, a good sized correction coming, maybe a 10% correction, or, you never know how big it's going to be. The only thing we don't have is a sell signal or a reason to short right here and now. So again, I gotta see that breakdown. We can continue to move higher, and I'll just short it from whenever that breakdown comes. And that's really it with the triple Qs. And I'm watching that, focused. I'm focused on that one. That will tell us that that we're gonna have a correction likely. All right, so let's get right into some stocks, and we'll look at some individual charts. Guys, let me know what you're looking for. What you want me to look at, and we'll just go right into it. So I'm going to scan through the comments. If you want me to look at an individual stock or, an ETF or any kind of chart, basically, leave a comment and I will, I'm going to go. We're going to start out with JD. All right, JD.com. So I know that one looked bullish the last time I looked at it. It was holding support. All right, so here's JD. Daily chart, you've got a trend line coming off August 2019. Held support all through here. You can see the tags of that. And I see no change in that. We just extend this out. They dip below it briefly. Little bear trap right there. One dip below it, and then the next day gapped up and rallied hot, pretty hard right there. So yeah, bullish in general on that one. I don't see any indication of, I don't see bearish divergence here. I don't see anything really. All I see a bullish chart. We're at support. It's holding support. Looks bullish to me. Where's it going to rally to? Well, you've got some resistance. You've got a resistance line right about here. You can see we held support all through there. Then it was resistance, resistance. So again, it's probably going to rally up to that 79.50 and a break above that, and likely just going to make another leg higher. A break of this lower trend line, that would be bearish. Okay, what else do we got? TJX, what, TJ Maxx? Is that what that is? I think that's what that is. So this is a retailer, and not a chart I've looked at for a while. So there's your trend line right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tags. We're still above support on the daily chart. We do have negative divergence that has been building for quite some time in the PPO. And it's there in the RSI as well. So negative divergence, this is a divergent high right here. But we're above support, so I'd be looking for a break of that trend line support. If it breaks, you've got a gap right down here. That would be a pretty obvious logical target for a gap fill. Depending on when that breaks, of course, that could be a drop of 20% or so. So that would be the trade that I'd be looking for on this, is waiting for this to break the trend line support and then work its way down to fill that gap. I would not short this right now though, because again, we haven't broken the trend line. If you're long, you could just stay long, because again, it's uptrending. Negative divergence isn't a reason to short. It just tells you that be on the lookout for it. All right, what else do you guys got? Etsy. Okay, we can look at that. Okay, so Etsy. Let's see what I can see here. This one I haven't been trading. It's the chart's gotten kind of messy. We don't have a super clean trend line. Maybe there's something that's coming off of here. Yeah, it's not my favorite really. So we'll just get rid of that one. In the short term, we had this uptrend line right here. We broke that. I don't really have an opinion on this one, to be honest. I think we're probably downtrending because you can see we made a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and we're making these lower lows. So it looks like we're downtrending over time. I would, potentially look for a move down to 121.87 as the final move. But we started to put in some bullish divergence down at this low here. This was bullish divergence right there. So this low, I have it circled, but that was, as I zoom in, this one right here, that was a divergent low, signaling you were going to likely get a reversal from this downtrend, and we did. So I don't have an opinion on this one. I'm not really going to put out my thoughts on it. I just don't have an opinion. I'm neutral. BABA looks bearish. I know I've been looking at that one. Here's BABA. The main thing I'm watching on BABA is this trend line off of 2015, and you can see we've broken that trend line. So lots of tags of that trend line, and recently we broke it with a sell signal, and then it came in for a back test and completely rejected, making a new low. So this looks pretty bearish. I think Baba's likely starting, it's in a bear market. It's in a bear market right now because it's dropped from the high to the low 38%. I think it's got lower to go. Support. Let's see if we can find some support areas. Yeah, I mean, you got some support right there. Which it's pretty, it's pretty much at support. It's about 195, 195.96 is what I had it. So in that area, you can see on, Thursday it hit 198.20 and then it bounced. So, until it breaks that, it's likely going to hold sideways, probably chop around. A break of that, maybe we come fill this gap down here at 125.97. Looks bearish to me in general. It does have bullish divergence though. This is a divergent low right here. So look at the bullish divergence right there on the PPO. And the RSI has bullish divergence as well. So things to look for. I don't think I'd want to short this here and now because look, that's a divergent low. You have bullish momentum starting to build and a new low in price. So I suspect we're going to hold here and maybe get a bounce, maybe even a back test, another back test. That's possible. Still bearish longer term, but I wouldn't want to short right here. I'd be more interested in shorting up here or whenever it actually bounces up there. That would be a better short than right here. Now, if it breaks bearish and breaks down and breaks this trendline support and takes out that bullish divergence, that would be very bearish. So if you see that, then that tells me, okay, this is actually a very bearish chart. It's going to go a lot lower. Okay. It's Starbucks looks really good to me. Not yet, but it is very close to shorting, and I've been watching that one closely. Last week I was really looking for that one. We're not there yet, but nice good read on your chart here in VED. So on Starbucks, here's your daily chart, and you've got this uptrend line right here on the daily. You have negative divergence. See the negative divergence, how it's just building? And it's really just been building for quite some time on the RSI and the PPO. We had a sell signal on Starbucks, so there's your break of trend, your sell signal. You back test, you fail. Now recently they're rallying this thing up. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to put in another divergent high because the momentum is there. It looks like it's going to do it. So I'd look for a little more upside in Starbucks. Maybe we get to this trend line, but it definitely above this last divergent high right here at about 118.50. You get above there and start to run into that trend line. That's the area that I think is very objective to establish a short position. So I'm watching for that. I'm looking for an entry there, just slightly above, put in a new, and it will be a divergent high because look at the PPO. If we go just a little bit higher, we're still going to have negative divergence. So that one's a great setup, short setup. I just would like to see a little bit higher prices above this most recent high right here, and then short it up there. Okay, what else do you guys got? SPG. Well, I already did one from you, Coco, so let me move on and try to get a few other people. Cloudflare, I have it on my watch list. Okay. So it is a short and it is objective. But it's backtesting. It's kind of grinding around on this backtest. Here's your uptrend line. The one thing I don't like about this trend line that I have drawn is I really only have, I have two reactions from above. So you can see we held support, and then there's really not a third reaction. We just kind of sliced through it a little bit. So I don't like that, but once we broke down, we have gotten several reactions from below. So there's a back test of resistance, rejected. And then again, as I zoom in on the daily, you can see we ran up, tagged that trend line, and then failed. So it is, you know, and then recently just on this low volume, low volatility, well, volatility spiked on Thursday, but we were having some pretty low volatility, and it's just kind of grinding along below this trend line. So if you want to short this thing, which is the way I would look to, I'd look to short this. One way you could maybe look at is like a break of this hourly trend line right here. You can see we held support. This one, they gapped it below on Thursday and ramped it right above it. So maybe an hourly close below this trend line would give you the sell signal. Or, you know, it's always objective to short right here on back tests of the trend line resistance. So yeah, I would look for a short on this, and I just look for kind of key areas to take your position. And, you know, ideally I would like to short it if it can get up here, you know, right up in there. That's where I'd like to short it, or a break of the hourly trend line. Okay, moving on. Roku. Yeah, all right, let's look at Roku. I think I've got this one here on my watch list. I like to watch a lot of these high-flying momentum stocks. It gives me an idea of, you know, when momentum's shifting. So, all right, so Roku didn't make a new high right here. So this recent rally up, it actually couldn't break above these recent highs. So it's not a continuation of the negative divergence. It is actually just downward momentum. You can see the momentum's moving down and price is moving down. I think we're probably going to run up and pop these highs. Maybe run up and do a full back test. I've got it circled as the objective area to short. I wouldn't short this thing where it's at right here. It's kind of in the middle of support and resistance. But I would be looking for a short because the uptrend line from March 2020, where you had a nice solid clear uptrend line, every single tag of that trend line support was bought, and that was bullish. But up here at the highs, we put in negative divergence. We broke the trend line, and now it's sell the rip, right? So every time, you know, we broke that bullish trend, and when you rip up into resistance, it gets sold into. So again, if you rip up into resistance, it gets sold into. So that's what I'd be looking for. It's a ways up there, though. You know, that's a move of 20-30%. So could rally all the way up there. If you're long, you know, that's obviously a great trade, but you know, it's just from my charting method, it's just not something I want to get long on right here, even though it could go much higher. Snap. Yeah, and I'll look at Amazon since that's a big player. So Snap could be bull flagging. We recently put it in, I think this is a divergent high. Nope, it actually didn't make a new high right here. No, that's not a divergent high. I suspect they're going to rally this thing next week and make a new high, and it's going to be a divergent high. So we'll look for that. Look for the continuation of the negative divergence. You've got some resistance here at 73.76. So watch that level. If it does run up and hit that, and I wouldn't expect it to just stop cold on that level, look for it to pop above it just slightly, and then look for the failure. If you don't get the failure, well, it's, you know, could be bullish. So things to look for on that one. In general, I'm not going to be bullish a lot of these stocks because the Qs is set up to sell off. So if the Q starts to sell off, I suspect a lot of these momentum stocks are going to sell off as well. You want to align your trades typically with the major indices. Yep. All right. So let's look at what QuantumScape QS. This is a high flying momentum name. So this is where everybody was bullish right here, thinking it was going to go to the moon. And then you got the break of, you know, you had negative divergence building for a while, and then it finally broke. There's your sell signal. And then you had to be quick on that one because in these momentum names, you got to be fast. But your sell signal came here the following day. It just gapped down huge. So looking at this one, let's look at the RSI. Yeah, we're starting to base, kind of base out. Let's look at the PPO. So we haven't made a new low yet. I suspect it's going to dip down and make a new low. And if it does, that's going to be a bullish divergent low. I would look for not the best trend line here. It's probably coming off the highs. It's probably something like that. Yeah. I can't really make a clean downtrend line on this that has enough reactions. I suspect we're going to make a new low and then build some bullish divergence and then rally from there. But the chart's just not definitive enough to give me key levels to key off of. So I would probably just stay off this one personally until the chart firms up. Amazon is, everybody's bullish Amazon right now because it's, you know, bullish in the short term. But the thing to look for is you have a new divergent high. So we're just making we're making a new high in price right up here. And Amazon's gone sideways for about a year, making a new high in price, but it's a divergent high. So I suspect it's going to fail. If you see a failure of this pop above this level of 3564, and you see it come back down and break back down, then that's going to be a false breakout or a bull trap. This has negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO, telling me that it's likely going to be a bull trap. So watch for that. If it continues higher and burns through the divergence and it's able to just run up and continue to make a new, strong move higher, then obviously there would be no, this chart would not be bearish anymore, and you'd start to look for entries on the long side, to buy on pullbacks. But right now it has negative divergence. I suspect it's going to be a false breakout. Okay, what else do we got? Guys, leave me a thumbs up. We got 52 people, 21 likes. If you haven't left me a thumbs up, I do appreciate that. Helps the channel. Ford. All right, so Ford and VXX, or, that's a VIX proxy. Okay, so things to watch for. I was looking for a VIX trade on Friday. We'll start out with just the VIX. The VIX looks to me like we're gonna get a move higher in volatility. We had a spike on Thursday, and when you see the VIX starting to chop around and spike and start to whip around, that's usually increased volatility. We do have bullish divergence on the VIX. So here is the momentum moving higher. And here's the PPO. You can see momentum is moving higher, and yet price continues to kind of dip low and make new lower lows. So that's bullish divergence. I'm looking for a pop on the VIX. I would just align any kind of VIX trade up with, that Q's chart. I think if that Q's chart breaks, you get that sell signal, you're going to see the VIX spike. So personally, what I'm doing is just watching the Qs. When the Qs gives me that sell signal, I'll probably take some long positions on the volatility. And VXX is not the best for charting because it has decay. It's leveraged. So again, this does have bullish divergence. You can see it building. I'm looking for a pop here as well. But again, I'm just laser focused on that triple Qs chart. That'll give me the tell on when it's time to buy this thing. All right, what else do we got here? Let's look for some new ones. Trying to find some new trade ideas. It's always good looking for some new charts. Let's see here. Silver. I mean, I'm bullish gold right now, and I don't trade silver a lot, but if you're silver tracks gold, pretty well. It's a little more volatile, so it doesn't always react right when gold moves, but in general, it goes with the tide. This is gold bullion. So far, we're holding this support. You can see here, moving out, you've got this upward trend line. This is where we started the trend. We held support. This is your COVID crash. And then we've held support here and here. And then recently, as I zoom in, we held support again right there. We're moving higher. This area also was met with bullish divergence. So it showed up first on the hourly chart, but now it's clearly on the daily as well. Let me see if I can get that trend line. Right there. See that bullish divergence? So this right here, this high was on a slightly lower price in gold. So this little dip down, and I talked about this on my video. I said I think we're going to get a little dip down to the trend line support and then hold. That's what's happened so far. So I'm just going to go with my initial read on it because it's working so far, and I think that we are starting the next leg higher in gold. To be honest, we had a nice long correction in gold. Gold. There's your parabolic spike. This is when Warren Buffett had announced he was buying Barrick Gold, and everybody was getting super bullish. Well, I mean, when this is the time that usually you want to be taking profit. And then, nice long correction, wash out all the weak hands, and then we broke out of the downtrend, come back in for a back test, hold support, and to me it looks like we're starting a nice steady climb higher. So don't expect it to just be this parabolic run higher. It's going to climb the wall of worry. That's basically what bull markets do. So I'm bullish on gold and the miners right now. I've been buying miners for the last couple weeks or month, and I've got good positions in those. We'll see. They're working so far. I mean, Royal Gold, I bought that one on a dip down to this support zone right here at about 112, and it's up 5-6% or something. Could go lower. I've got it circled. Obviously, there's the potential to have a good sell-off, but I don't see it in the gold bullion chart. So I think, until I see that show bullish, then I'm gonna remain until I see gold bullion look bearish, I'm gonna remain bullish on the mining charts. They all look pretty good. Another one that just gave me another indication of proof is this Agnico Eagle. Look at this. So you have this downtrend line right here on the daily chart. We broke out right there. We came back in, hit that support, undercut it a little, but it still popped. And then look on Friday, we hit it and it's popped. So there's buyers down here. Buyers are buying it. Now the price hasn't, impulsively moved higher, but I think we're going to get that. And again, I don't want to be long. I don't want to start going long after it's ripping higher. I want to buy on support. So as it moves higher, I'm well into the money. We also have bullish divergence. Look at let me get rid of this one. See this PPO, clean bullish divergence. Here's the RSI, moving higher. So yeah, I like it. Pradeep, thank you. Appreciate that. What would you like me to look at? SGD? I'm not sure what that is. Snowline Gold Corp. Oh, that's a gold miner, I guess. Kind of just talked about those. not a lot of history here. So this one is brand new, it looks like. Well, no, a couple years old. Low. This is a penny stock. I don't trade penny stocks typically. I did trade a little bit of the coal miners a couple 6-7 months ago or something. BTU was one of the one I traded, and it was good. But let's see if I can see anything on this chart that would make sense. Just well, you know, you have a clear downtrend right there. Downward price channel on the daily chart. So that's, nothing's changed. It is downtrending in the short term. You've got a breakout candle right here where it just had a big impulsive breakout. I suspect there's going to be some support down there. And you can see we dip down to it. So I would look for bullish divergence starting to show up. But we could run down and undercut this trend line a little bit, maybe dip below here and set up bullish divergence. Looking at the hourly, starting to kind of have some bullish divergence. I think it's not super clean yet, but we're starting to get some bullish divergence. Here's the RSI. You can see it's you know, starting to build bullish divergence. So we're getting divergent lows. Maybe we'll keep getting them and chop below here and then rally. If you're conservative, which is what I would probably do on this one, is wait. I wouldn't just buy divergent lows. I'd wait for a break of this trend line up here on the daily chart. A nice solid break above, and that would be your buy signal, and likely we do that and break above these highs. Yeah, new core. You know, I already have that on my chart. I've been watching that one too. Let's go to the, I think I got it here, right there. New core. New core is bearish. I still remain bearish on this one. So new core there's your upward price channel right there, and these are divergent highs up here. So this was telling you you're going to get a break of trend. And there's your sell signal. We broke trend right there, but this is definitely a sell signal right there. That's a big impulsive breakdown. Chopping sideways, kind of flagging out recently. So you can see we're just kind of flagging out. Looks like a bear flag to me. I suspect we're heading down to this support zone, which is 75 down to 73. I think we're going to break. Now we could chop around some more. Maybe we run up and do this kind of stuff. But sorry about that. Got to get this tool in order. Little line tool going crazy on me. But again, I still think we're heading down here. Looking at the PPO and the RSI, yeah, slight bullish divergence showing up right here. Just a small bullish divergence, which maybe that sets us up for a little move up. In general, I'd be looking to short this thing, sell the rip. I do think we're going lower. This looks very familiar. And another way chart that you can use is like Freeport. It's a different miner, but they're mainly a copper miner. This one, they do sell gold too, but more as a byproduct of the copper that they're mining. And this looks bearish as well. So you have an upward price channel right here, or trend line in Freeport. And we got negative divergence, big negative divergence. We have a sell signal or a break of trend. It chopped around a little bit. The buyers were trying to hold it, but there they lost the battle. And there's a sell signal, move down, run up, hit resistance, get rejected at resistance. They tried twice. You can see right there, they popped it above, sold it down, popped it above, sold it down. And then it's breaking. Now Friday's action, they gap it up, make it look bullish, but nothing's changed in the bigger picture of the chart. It's still bearish. I suspect even if they run it up and hit resistance, that's still resistance. It's likely going to get rejected there. I'm looking for 30.30 as the next support zone for Freeport. Okay, what else do you guys got? Bitcoin. Who wants me to cover Bitcoin? I don't trade Bitcoin. Sometimes I'll trade like Riot or the Bitcoin proxies. We can look at it, Bitcoin futures. I still think we're getting lower prices. I don't see any indication, but let's see here. Looks like we've got some clearly bullish short-term momentum on the RSI and the PPO. Okay, so we have bullish divergence. Each one of these little spikes down. This is a divergent low. This was a divergent low. So we have bullish divergence. That's not a reason to just go long something, but we are building bullish divergence here at this support zone, which is about 30,875 is where I have it. I think we're going to dip. I really feel like we're going to have one more move down right here to about the 24,000 area. And that's likely where we're going to hold some support. So we could continue to build this bullish divergence as we work our way lower, boom, and hit that, and then maybe rally from there. The trend line, you do have a downtrend line that's right about there. You got reaction on the daily there, and then another one there. So watch that trend line. You know, a break above that, we might rally back up to 44,500. That's the next level of resistance. Okay, so those are some levels to watch there in Bitcoin. And then the Bitcoin proxies, you'll just want to chart those, but I'll align your Bitcoin proxies with Bitcoin in general. I think that's important. Yeah, SNTG. Well, if it's SNT, it must be brand new. It's probably not a lot of history. Yeah, I can't. There's nothing I can, This is just gambling, basically. Look at that. Run up to 50, gap down. I mean, this is just, momentum traders. They'll just jump in and ride the, day traders do a lot of this stuff where it's just spiking higher in intraday. So they'll take the momentum trades. And that's fine. That works for people. But I can't chart this and give you an opinion for like a swing trade or anything. So moving on. CLF. What is that? Is that oil? I think there's a short coming up in... Oh, Cleveland Cliffs. Yeah, I don't know what they do. Iron, maybe? Steel. Well, I had a short-term trend line. Yeah. Looks like I had an alert set on that one, but I just want to kill that. All right, negative divergence. Clear negative divergence. That remains right there on Cleveland Cliffs. But we do have this longer-term uptrend line, and we have not broke that support. So I guess what I was doing is probably looking for a move down to that trend line. Looks like right about there. So you have a minor trend line. You break that, you're probably heading to the major trend line. The major trend line, you break that, and I think you're probably heading down to, probably down to about $9. But lots of support to get through. There is negative divergence right here, so this tells me we're likely at least going to break this minor trend line. The trade that I would be wanting to take right now is that break of this minor trend line for a move down to the major trend line. That's all that I can see in the chart right now. You're likely going to hold hold support at that major trend line, at least for a reaction. So that's what I would do. Now, maybe you get the reaction and then you come back down and then you break this. Okay, then there's more to go. But for now, I would just say a break of the minor down to the major. Could put in another high, though. So, again, we could just rally up, put in a new divergent high, then come back in and break. You got to wait for that break. But I think you'll get it because you have big negative divergence in the RSI and the PPO. All right, so just kind of scrolling through the comments. Oh, SGD. Well, I don't know. You got Singapore dollars. Cool. I think those are think that's a good strong currency if I recall. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any super chats I always appreciate, guys. It's you know, it's a nice gesture. Let's just put it that way. Do appreciate that. All right, what else do we got? Hog. So that is Harley Davidson. All right, I haven't charted this one for a while, so it looks like I don't have any lines going on. There's your uptrend line. Let's tighten that up a little bit. We'll say it's right about there. Right about there. Okay. This is coming off your March 2020 lows. Looks very familiar as a lot of charts coming off the March 2020 lows. Looks like we're getting a bearish rising wedge right here starting to form. Bearish rising wedge. We're just, you know, working our way up that wedge. Let's see, do we have any negative divergence? This looks like negative divergence. We'll have to zoom in just to see if it's, yeah, there it is. So there is some negative divergence in the PPO. And do we have it in the RSI? Not really. Not there, at least. Yep, no real negative divergence in the RSI. So we've got in the PPO, not in the RSI. Tells me we're likely going to, you know, work our way higher within this wedge, and then maybe you'll look for the negative divergence starting to show up. Well, let's see here. What was my chart? I see it right there. Not exactly sure what. Let me see. There's some negative divergence. Never mind. I take that back. There's your negative divergence right there. See the this high right here was a divergent high. So you do have negative divergence in the RSI, and you have it in the PPO. If we just want to roll back and look at the shorter time frame, you've got it right there. Okay, so we're making a bearish rising wedge. We have negative divergence. So we have a bearish pattern. We have bearish momentum, but we still have trendline support right here. So you got to see that break. So I suspect we'll wedge higher, kind of grind, maybe bounce again, and then we're going to break in the future. So this is a future setup, but any, you know, if you get a break of that trendline support, that would be your sell signal. Look for gaps to fill. If you get that break, there's a gap right down there. I suspect we'll, yeah, see that? That's basically support, and it was resistance. See that we got there, and then we gapped above it. So I would look for, if we do break, for a move down to 30.50. Right around the 30.50 area. If you're going to short this on a break of trendline support, I wouldn't short it here and now. I never, you know, I never give trade ideas like that. But if you're going to short it, look for a move down to 30.50, and you want to cover, you know, above that area. You don't want to wait for it to get completely down there. Even if it undercuts it, you want to cover above it. Lock in your profit, take the sure thing when you have it, and especially near major support. All right, Falcon, appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's very, very nice gesture. Do appreciate that. Okay, so Tesla. All right, we'll look at that one. I am short Tesla. Full disclosure. And I'm going to go for about 5 more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes, guys. I know we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, so KL, thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so Tesla looks like it's just kind of flagging out for a little bit. I don't see any sign that we're not going lower. All right, we're making lower highs and lower lows. I've got them kind of circled here. We're downtrending. We do have this short-term minor trendline support right here. So if you look at the hourly, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 reactions. A break of that, and 460, I believe, is in the cards. So that's really what I'm waiting for, is that break and a move down to 460. I'll probably cover down at 460 and move on to the next trade. And obviously there could be a lot lower prices in Tesla. Tesla got ramped up. A lot of momentum was into this, so it could go a lot lower, but I still think we'll get a major bounce there at 460. And so I am just waiting for that negative divergence, you know, we had negative divergence back here. We're now downtrending, so we have negative price action, negative momentum. I don't see any indication that that's finished. And if you look at the right here on the PPO, see how we're just, let me get rid of that just for a second. Focus on that. See how we're moving up in momentum? Well, we're also moving up in price. All right, so upward momentum, upward price. There's no divergence telling you that there's a trend reversal happening. This is just a bounce in a downtrend. That's what it looks like to me. So we're downtrending. We're getting a bounce in the downtrend, and I think we're likely going to resume the major trend, which is down. And I don't see any indication that that major trend is about to reverse. All right, so that's all I see in that one. All right, just kind of scanning through here. Gilt. Is that a clothing company? Gilt? Is that Gilt Man? What is that one? What's Gilt? Is this it? Satellite? Gilt Satellite Networks? Okay, Gilt. We'll take a look at that. Big ramp there, that's for sure. So I'm just kind of looking for signs that this was going to reverse right here just to see how this chart trades out. Yeah, you did have negative divergence. See, looking at the hourly, see that right there? So that high, well, it was really right here. This high right here was a divergent high. All right, so that would have told you that, okay, be on the lookout for a trend reversal, and then you get your trend right here. You wouldn't have really gotten the trend reversal until you were all the way down here. Let me just zoom in for a second. So, you know, I wouldn't have shorted this until pretty much right here on this gap down. That was your sell signal telling you that you're going to reverse trend, and you did. You know, then it was a clear downtrend all the way down here at 830. You know, so nice solid short. If you took the sell signal right there and you rode it all the way to the bottom, that's a 50% drop. So now looking at this one, let's see, we probably are starting to put in some bullish divergence. We are. So it had a big solid correction. There is your bullish divergence starting to show up on the RSI. Let me see if I can see it on the PPO. Let me see what this looks like here. Let me see what does this look like? Nope. So I see it on the PPO, the bullish divergence. I don't see it on the RSI. I don't see it on the RSI yet. You know, I don't know about this one, to be honest. There is some resistance right here. Right in that area. So I would say a break above 1105, a daily close above there would probably be, that's going to be bullish. Watch for the false breakout on this one. You know, if you pop above and then fail, just bail. That's what I would say. But if it pops above and it can hold, then that would probably be a bullish break, and maybe we start to trend up. Mixed signals on this one. We could continue to downtrend on this one. I don't have, you know, I've got divergence on the PPO, not on the RSI, so we might have another leg down. You've got another gap down here, down at 771. Maybe it wants to come down and hit that gap, and that's the area to buy at. So, yeah, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be trading this one personally until I see some more, you know, until I see maybe a breakout or, you know, come down and put in bullish divergence on both indicators down here. That's where I'd look at those levels. Okay, what else you guys got? Newmont Mining. All right, that's a gold miner. I own some Newmont in one of my accounts. It's more of a longer term kind of thing, but I do trade Barrick. I like Barrick. That one's been pretty good to me. So Newmont. I'm just kind of clearing this chart so I can give it a kind of a fresh analysis. So Newmont, I think, you had Newmont's actually looked stronger than some of these other miners. Hasn't sold off as much. It's been relatively strong, but you did have this correction. Here's from this high here in August. You corrected down 25%. So that's a nice correction within a bull market. Zooming out on Newmont, this is going back to 2016 area. Yeah, not the best trend line, but I would say it's something like that. 1, 2, 3. All right, we can make those data points. So there, held support. We at least have 3. COVID undercut it. This is the COVID drop, undercut it, but recovered. That's your major bull market right there. Zooming in, let's look at the RSI. So we have upward momentum on the RSI recently. And these little dips are making, divergent lows. We could come in and test this. We could come down and hit this. That might be a possibility, so watch for that. Because the one thing that I'm not seeing is bullish divergence on the PPO. I just see downward momentum on the PPO. So maybe we rally here, chop around, come in, hit that trend line, and then hold. I haven't been buying this one recently because of, this chart. It doesn't look as solid as some of the others. Harmony, Agnico Eagle, HMY, AEM, both of those look like they're at kind of good support zones with bullish divergence. So those look like good buys, and I've been buying those. The major miners not as much, so they might have some more work to do, but we'll see. All right, what else you guys got? I'm about to wrap up. NVIDIA, Square, SE, PayPal. NVIDIA looks like an interesting short. That's the one that probably stands out to me. Yeah, I did review Newmont Mining, or not Newmont Mining, Nucor. I did go through that, so you can go back and look at that one. All right, so yeah, how do I play the deflationary trade? I'm straddling between both right now. I think I've carried this thesis for a while, but basically the market is trading off the Fed, right? I think we can all agree that the market just cares about the Fed. It's not earnings. It's not really anything except for what's the Fed going to do. And so the market has been rallying up here because the Fed's been pumping. And if the Fed, and so the only thing that's going to possibly force the Fed's hand is it would be inflation, right? Like if inflation starts to get out of control, then the Fed is going to be forced to maybe take action, or or maybe they won't. Maybe they won't take action, but if anything, they'll be forced to let the market know that they can't control it anymore. Like their tools are used up. So that's the major trade I think we're going to have in the future is trading the Fed, kind of revealing the fact that it can't, its tools are used. For right now, they're still using talk as a method to, control the markets. So the trade that's happening right now is a little bit of unwinding of the inflation trade. I'm seeing a little bit of unwinding, but the thing is that that was like a market consensus trade. Everybody was loaded up on the inflation trade, and then it was just consensus. So usually when you get consensus, even if the trade is the longer term trade, it is the major decade long trade to make, you're going to have periods where everyone's lopsided, loaded up, and then it unwinds, it corrects, and then it will continue that longer term trend, and that trade will work. but you're going to have these corrections when the market gets lopsided. And that's what I think is happening right now. So we're seeing a little bit unwinding of the inflation trade, a little bit, I think there's some deflation trade that's going to play out in the short term. Maybe the Q's tech corrects, and that's maybe what's going to happen here in the short term. But I think that inflation trade is actually probably the right trade longer term, because I don't believe the Fed is going to raise interest rates. Here's the thing. They came out and talked about raising interest rates. They haven't done anything. All right. They took no action. They're just talking. So I think what they're trying to do is just talk the inflation trade down a little bit and, ease the markets off a little bit. Maybe get a correction in the market. The Fed is okay with a correction. They're just not okay with markets crashing or bear market. They don't want a bear market, but, correction, they're probably okay with. So maybe they want to talk that down. We get a correction. Until the Fed starts raising interest rates and acting, I would say that inflation trade is probably the longer trade. So until I see action, I'm going to stick with that inflation trade longer term, which means gold miners and commodities and all that. But there's a correction. We've already seen the correction in gold and gold miners. There's already been a correction. So I think, I think you get a correction in the markets now, and then we just continue that inflation trade, but we'll see. All right, NVIDIA. I do want to talk about that one real quick. All right, so on the daily chart, you do have a uptrend line. We did break that trend on Thursday, and Friday just a little bounce, but nothing crazy. Maybe you run up and back test, maybe you don't, but it is a sell signal there in the short term. Looking at the only thing I don't like about this one, let's see what we got going. Well, sorry, there is negative divergence. There it is right there on the PPO, and then on the RSI, you've got it as well. Confirmed negative divergence as well. When I say confirmed, I mean we had negative divergence here, and now it's turned down, so you confirm that negative divergence. You kind of lock that in. So this is a big ramp higher, a big new divergent high, and we have a sell signal. So I started shorting this. I took a starter short on this on Thursday when it broke. Friday was kind of grinding against me a little bit, but we still have a good solid sell signal. So I would look for a move down to 647 on that. And any kind of upside or pop into this trend line, that's very objective to short. So I'd be looking for that if that happens. Okay. Again, this is likely going to sell off when the Qs sells off. You start to see this one break impulsively lower. You're probably going to see that sell signal in the triple Qs. Okay. Yeah, well, good job, Greg. That's kind of where I'm at too. So we're on the same wavelength on that one. So cool, man. And all right, one last chart, guys, and then I'm gonna wrap. What do you guys got? Leave a comment below. Let me know. I'll try to, what do you guys got for the last chart? You want to look at any financials? I don't know if anybody's in these financial shorts with me. I am shorting, I'm still short Ally. I did take some profit on FITB just recently. We ran down and hit that support area of 35.88. So I took profit on that when I covered the short on that, and that was the right move. We bounced. So, that one I'm done with that one. I shorted it up here on the break. And that was a move of, about 11%, an 11% trade. Not bad. Ally, I'm still short this one. We just bounced into resistance on Friday. I suspect we fail here. SQ and PayPal. Well, I don't see anything in PayPal. SQ still looks like a good short to me. We're just kind of you know, grinding around resistance right here. So far, it's still failing. You can see we broke here, little bounce. All right, I think this is what's going to happen. And you got some major support on SQ at 193.50. You break that, probably going to head down to this 170.50. And you break that, 134.50. Those are big moves. So Qs will probably break. You'll see a break, you know, that will be when the market's in correction mode if that happens. But I still think SQ is a good short. Looks fine to me. TLT, long bond. I can cover the long bond and then we'll wrap, I guess. TLT. All right, so long bond has broken bullish divergence right there. See the bullish momentum on the RSI. Didn't quite show up on the PPO, but I'm sure it's there on the hourly. So there's your divergent low. I had that circled. And here's your downtrend line in the long bond. We broke above it. So there's your breakout. Maybe it wants to come in for a back test. Again, the Qs could go a slightly higher. You know, we can grind higher. So maybe this is going to come in for a back test, then go. But in general, it looks like it broke bullish. So it's moving impulsively higher. I think we're going higher in the long bond. There's some resistance right up there at 154.50. So I would look for a move up there, you know, as your next level of major resistance. And the long bond moving higher is consistent with a market correction. So, you know, you're usually not going to see bonds being bought up if the market is bullish. That's more of a flight to safety. So that's why I think that, you know, bonds moving higher means interest rates are falling. People are fleeing to safety. Falling interest rates is bullish for gold. Okay, real falling interest rates or real negative interest rates is bullish for gold, and that's the flight to safety move. And the market, that would be consistent with the market potentially having a correction. So that's the setup that I see right now is bullish gold miners, bearish tech like Qs, looking for a correction in the markets and looking for a flight to safety. And that's what we're seeing in the charts, at least in the long bond. That's a big move, and that is people moving into bonds looking for a correction as well. So that's all I have, guys, for today. And you guys let me know, leave comments in my videos if you want me to look at other charts. I'll try to cover some of those in the videos. I do appreciate that. Leave me a like on the way out. Check out the course if you haven't done so. Link in the description of my videos below. And I will catch you guys on Monday. Take care. Bye.